What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about when I think Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is going to be coming out. Now, this was asked of me by Yevgeny, and I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not, though, so I'm very sorry, but thank you for asking me, and this is something that obviously interests me quite a bit. Huge Uncharted guy right here, and it's something that I guess is even more interesting because of that GeForce leak, which did give it a date. I believe February 7th was the date that was in that leak. But the thing, I've made a video on the main channel, hopefully you guys have seen it by now, I don't believe like 85-90% of the leaks of the dates that came out for these games. I think a lot of the games are real. In fact, they even confirmed, a lot of the games are real. But the dates, they're just all over the place. Some of them make sense. Some of them make absolutely no sense, including even, I would say, this one. Because while Uncharted comes out on PS5 and PC, they have it on February 7th, and then February 8th, they have Ghost of Tsushima on PC. There's 0% chance those games come out on PC back-to-back days. There's like hell will freeze over before that happens, okay? So that's just not possible. So does that mean it can't come out in February? No, I think it could. I'm going to say, for my release date predictions, I haven't done this in a while, I feel like late March is where I would put it personally. And I actually kind of forgot this game was coming out on PS5. I actually, in my mind, I translated it to only being on PC, because I actually kind of forgot that it was almost a remaster. In fact, it is a remaster, right? So what I would do, well, number one, I guess we know the game is probably coming out early next year. Early, I think, can still mean March. Once you get into like April, you're no longer talking about anything being early, okay? So when you look at what's going on for PlayStation, though, they do have a little bit going on, specifically in February. You got Horizon Forbidden West on the 18th, right? So we knew that. And then you had Sifu on the 22nd. Now, I actually don't like the fact that Sifu comes out 4 days after Horizon, because I'm very much interested and want to play Horizon, but every time I see Sifu, I'm in love with it, so I cannot wait. And I don't know, like, I don't want them to only be 4 days apart. So you have the 18th and the 22nd. Then you go to March 4th, and that's Gran Turismo 7. Now, granted, I think Horizon is, well, okay, obviously it's open world, but it's in the same, like, action-adventure vein as Uncharted. You probably don't want them to come out too close to each other. Sifu is obviously different, and then Gran Turismo, granted, is very different than pretty much any other game. It's a racing game, right? But I still think you have to space things out. And I say that all the time. I've said that for, like, WB Games. I've said it for Microsoft. I've said it for Sony. You don't have your games come out insanely close to each other. Now, I guess you could argue, Horizon with Sifu is, right there. I don't assume they wanted to do that. In fact, both of those games were delayed to that point. They weren't, going to come out at that time originally, so maybe there's just no other way of doing it. Obviously, Sifu is not a Sony-owned, studio that's making it or even publishing it, so you have that. I guess, that's actually separate. That would be different than if Sony publishes, say, Horizon, and Sony publishes God of War, which, by the way, God of War is another one that you have to think of, right? Because it's like, well, when does God of War come out? Maybe in like April, May. That's when I would honestly imagine God of War comes out at the earliest. I actually have always thought it was going to come out in the fall, but just because of everything on the PlayStation Store and stuff, I feel like maybe April, May, June, somewhere in that range is maybe more likely of an opportunity. So I would say late March. I would, and again, I would say that because of the PS5 aspect of Uncharted, right? Because it's coming on PS5, where now you can have several, and again, we don't really know about God of War, but you could have several months in a row. Now you could have February of Horizon. Let's just do the big games. Horizon. March, you have Gran Turismo, which, again, I know not everybody's into racing games, myself even included. I'm not a big racing guy, but Gran Turismo, number one, it's one of the most popular franchises in the world, and number two, it's a very high quality, product and game franchise, and it sells insane. It sells insane, so it's a big one. So I don't think you put Uncharted like within a week of that. So I would say, if you could do Horizon and Sifu, back to back in February, and then Gran Turismo March 4th, and then you do Uncharted maybe that last week of March, the very end. And then if you have God of War April or May, or even if you don't, you've still established, several good months. And you have third-party games too, right? But you've established 2 good months out of 3 to start the year. And then if you have something in April or May, maybe you have like another remaster or something like that, or anything, then that you start to fill it in. So that's what I would say. Again, I really I don't think like May, June, July, like once you start going, I think it's in the first couple months of the year. And I don't think February is a good idea. If you can do it in January, fine, but I just don't, a lot of developers, this is kind of common knowledge, right? A lot of developers go on like long Christmas breaks. They shut down. There's a big gap of, working time and I guess productivity and also announcements really for like 3 weeks at the end of December and beginning of January. And so I don't know. To me, I think that's always why January games, there really is very few of them. Darksiders has come out a few times in January. Kingdom Hearts, I believe, came out at the very end of January a few years ago. So like there are games, but they always are at the end of the month. And then when you start to go to the end of the month, you're like, well, I don't know. Do you do that? Because then you have like 2.5 weeks until Horizon, and maybe the Uncharted's just not ready by then. So, it's definitely interesting, but I think if you did it in March or even April, even beginning of April, I think that would make the most sense for Sony. I'm very excited for it. I mean, I've said it before, Uncharted is my favorite franchise, and Uncharted 4 is my favorite game of all time, at least of right now. So I really cannot wait to jump back in. I have a very powerful PC now, which I didn't have, a week and a half ago and before. So I don't know, like I have a PS5. I'd like to play it on PS5, but maybe, I don't know, would it be better to play it on my PC? I'll have to consult with you guys. I'll have to figure it out myself as well. But I'm very excited to replay these games yet again. Lost Legacy is super, super good. I don't think, some people will put it as one of the better games. I don't think it's better than like Uncharted 2 or 3 or 4, but I do think it's like incredible. I mean, they're all really good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I do a brand new video on the channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.